the Aussie councillor who has world leaders seething with fury. Firstly, why was this little-known Polly from Western Australia invited to observe Russia's recent election? Good question. And why would that same person then go on Russian television and give a glowing endorsement of Vladimir Putin? Another good question. So, let's ask him. Port Hedland councillor Adrian McRae joins me in Perth. Nice to see you, Adrian. You want to set the record straight because visiting Russia and the comments you have made have caused a lot of friction. Why were you even there for the election?
I had a chance meeting with the Russian ambassador in Sydney back in January, and so he mentioned that Russia was looking for scrutineers to go to Russia and have a look at their election process.
Okay, so you fly to Russia for the election. What did you see?
They're very proud of their democracy and their electoral process. They have, I think, they have 89,000 voting booths across the country, over 300,000 volunteers.
Just quickly, Adrian, you think Russia's a democracy?
Absolutely, I think it's a democracy. Look, before I went there, I went over there with sort of a few probably media-driven preconceived notions, but coming back, I absolutely, I mean, their democracy is more transparent and more, certainly more professionally run. The logistics and management of their election process leaves everything I've ever seen, certainly here in the West.
See, when I saw you saying that on Russian television, I thought maybe you're just playing it safe. We know what happens to people when they speak out in Russia. But to have you stand by that when you get back here, and that was your quote, "In my lifetime, the world has never seen such a transparent and comprehensive victory." I mean, really, Adrian, this is the same country where genuine political opponents, anyone who speaks out is jailed, exiled, or ends up dead.
Genuine political opponents, I'm not sure what you're referring to there, Ali.
Do you think you perhaps saw what the Russians wanted you to see?
I told them the story in Australia where we've got political parties standing at the front of almost every election booth in Australia, waving how to vote cards and waving banners for certain political parties. I suggested why they don't do that in Russia, and they laughed. They said, how can that not be manipulating and affecting the outcome of the election? I said, well, it does manipulate the outcome of the election.
You know what, Adrian, it's got a name and it's called freedom. Our Foreign Minister, Penny Wong, said the result is an insult to democracy. So are you right and she's wrong?
Look, I struggle to find take anything that comes out of Penny Wong's mouth seriously. I mean, she doesn't have the decency or the compassion or the integrity to even condemn or criticise the terrorist attacks on the people of Russia last week.
Adrian, you're like, no offence, but as a local councillor from Port Hedland to the Foreign Minister of Australia, who has a department behind her whose job this is, I'm thinking, listening to what you're saying, is that maybe you got played.
To say that all of us were being played, and not only that, 1 million Central Election Commission workers being played, 300,000 Russian volunteers themselves. They come from the Communist Party, they come from the People's Party, they come from all the various parties, and we're all somehow being played by their electoral process. It's not only insulting to me, but I'm sure if the Russian people heard that, that would be an absolute slap in the face.
All right, well, we'll just sort of ignore those who were jailed, exiled, or ended up dead, and sadly that list is long. Port Hedland has the largest iron ore port in Australia. As a councillor, you're not privy to confidential information. Are those secrets still safe with you, Adrian?
I'm not sure what I mean, even in the local social media, people are saying, oh, how can this guy could be a Russian spy. Russia has no interest in our iron ore. They mine their own iron ore.
Well, you know what? In this country, you're allowed to have your own views and you're allowed to share them. It is the great thing about democracy. Thanks, Adrian.
Thank you, Ali.